Hello and welcome to our Midweek podcast at First Baptist Sweetwater, where we strive to be the first responders of God's love. My name is Jerry Hendricks, and I'm here with our first podcast in November with my good friend T. Camilton.
It's colder outside.
Finally, I think this is the second time on podcast that I've worn like a pullover, quarter zip here, but it is. I've been to Chicago, Teak.
Yes, you have.
And
it was warm there, right?
As they say, I felt like I brought the weather back with me.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, it was low 50s the entire time we were there.
Oh, goodness.
And wow, we get here, and then we're expecting some rain starting this evening, and yeah, it's going to just kind of be continuous for me.
How was the weather? Is it still Soldier Field?
Yes.
Okay, so how was the weather at Soldier Field?
So it was partly cloudy that day. We went to a football game. James is a 49er fan.
Right.
He got that from his grandfather. Sharon's from California.
Mm-hmm.
His dad was a 49er. Her dad was a 49er fan. And so that was my game to kind of find out or to coax someone else into going with me to see a Bears game.
Right.
And the 49ers won, and they actually looked pretty good. But no, we had a fun time. It was really good. It's Chicago is my favorite city in the United. Well, I guess favorite city. Period. I liked Rome a lot, but I think Chicago would be a place where I feel like I could live.
Oh, yeah, not me. It's too big.
Yeah, it's
so we did all marathons. I don't want to be in a town that has marathons.
Sweetwater has a marathon, so we.
Do we really?
We did.
That's disappointing.
I thought we beat the street with a marathon.
Oh, yeah, a little feet on the street and all that.
Anyways. Well, so we had you had a Sunday without me here.
We did have a Sunday, and it absolutely fell apart.
That's a lie. In fact, we got in late last night, drove over this morning, and I tried to get filled in immediately. So before we even had staff meeting, Teak and I drinking coffee to fill me in because I don't like surprises. But it sounded as if it was one of the better Sundays that went off in my absence. I mean, there's just always seems something that goes wrong.
Yeah, there is. I don't understand what it is, but yeah, it went off okay. It worked out.
Yeah, good.
So,
well, miss being here, of course. Glad to be back and start thinking about all things we're going to be getting ready to get done. And so, yeah, there's that.
It's a fun part of the year. Like, this is where it really picks up. We talk about, like, leading in summer, things like that, but this is that. It's the fun time of year because it picks up, but it's like a happy pickup. Like, there's stress in May, and there's tears in May because graduation and stuff like that. This is excitement. It's giving. It's people excited about being good.
Right, doing the right thing.
Yeah, I wish it could be year round. But no, it's a fun time. We kicked off Operation Christmas Child.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
We were getting that ready as I was getting ready to be gone last week. All the boxes, you stacking the boxes, we're talking about that. So this year, something different. We've decided we're going to have a goal.
Right, we've never done that before.
Of 125 boxes. So how does that play out for us?
Well, the most we've ever collected, we think, was 88.
Okay.
And so we decided, why not do 125? We just pulled the number out of the air. And so we put those out there, and we're creating you remember the old days, you'd have the thermometer that you or you put in so many kids or whatever. We decided to have a little bit more fun with it, and so whenever you bring your box in, you'll get to drop a red or green ping pong ball into a tube, and as it fills, it's going to get to that 125 number. And their goal their phrase is to the ends of the earth, and so we're adopting that phrase also. And we talked about the letter or the card we got. This is our 6th year doing this. And as a relay center, we've collected 3,598 boxes, and 10 people affected by the gospel. That's 35,000 people, almost 36,000 people have heard the gospel because of this ministry that we've done as a relay center. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's, as I've learned, I didn't really wasn't that familiar with it until we moved here and started participating with First Baptist Sweetwater. But it is, and Teak and I talked about this last week. I think it was off air, but it is one of those ministries that is it's just one of those real simple ideas.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things as we get into, we start November. This coming Sunday is the first Sunday in November for us, and as we get into this season and start having this, really trying to to channel this spirit of giving that we have through these different initiatives and just through our worship, through talking about our budget for next year. I mean, we get it from a variety of areas, but I guess the entrepreneur in me and the pastor in me merges when you think about how this thing must have started.
Right.
Very simple idea of collecting some things for a child, boy or girl,
Right.
putting it in a box and sending it to them with the gospel message.
Yeah.
And then now it's grown into be the big deal that it is now.
They were talking about with the shipping and all that, like having to private contract with ships to take boxes overseas and like the logistics that's caused. But they're finding a way. So
Well,
it's really cool.
And I think we did mention last time that Global Samaritan does a lot of things now.
Right.
That we've seen in particular when there was several Sweetwater groups, responder groups that went to Houston with that last big hurricane that they had, and Global Samaritan was really one of the primary coordinators of the effort that the folks here worked with.
Right.
And so it's really a neat deal. I think for us though, as we get into just the messaging and the thinking through giving for this year for each of us, one of the things that I always want to challenge people to do is to think creatively about the way that you give. And I think that this Operation Christmas Child is one of those things where someone at some point was creative, and then now this big thing has been birthed from it. And I don't know that, we found things within our family that were, from year to year creative, that we've, and some of those we locked in on, some of them didn't. But I'm hoping that as we kind of go through this season and start thinking about what it means for us, each one of us, to give or to find those channels for us to give, that that God might give us a spirit of creativity and us really, maybe come up with something that becomes viral or big.
Yeah, I think this is one of those easy ministries to help your kids understand what it means to be giving and to think about yourself outside of little Sweetwater, Texas, and think about kids around the world. It's great, creates great conversation opportunities. It creates that idea of you're putting something together to totally give away. No one will ever know it came from you, who you are, anything like that. And so I think that's a great way to talk about what it means to live the Jesus life. And then the other thing was, you were talking about creativity. One of the families that picked up boxes picked up one more box than what they have in their family. And their kids asked them, said, wait, why do we need this many? Said, well, a little kid adopted one of the football players in the family, and so we're going to help them do one. It's like, that's a cool idea.
Right.
Bringing someone else in who's never done it before.
Right. And we do, so we can be in this season every year overwhelmed with information or opportunities to give. But I think you'll find as a family or individual most value if you begin to search for those things that add meaning to your giving experience.
Right.
And I am one of those people who tend to look for something new every year. That's just the way that I function best. But you don't want to miss an opportunity during this season to be challenged. And so we'll be talking about it through some of the natural giving initiatives we have, but then also through our budget and through the discipline of giving. It was interesting. I think I'm curious now that I've been with this church for 6.5 years. It appears that the church knows more about me than what I realize they know about me.
Yeah. Or maybe you're just finding out that you say more than you think you say.
No, well, I do know I say a lot. So James and I do a lot of road trips together.
Right.
And James is my son, and we enjoy a lot of the same things. And he probably enjoys travel more than me, but I'll enjoy events and different things. But it was interesting on one of our, so that's who I went on the trip with this weekend. But even in the middle of our trip, we had a conversation during one of our meals about giving. One of the churches, or the church that he attends, has started talking about giving. And, for him, he went back to something that we did for him as a kid that I never really knew if it caught on. It was something that we had been taught to train to do. So when he was a child, both of our kids, every Saturday night we gave them 10 dimes.
Oh, that's cool.
And so the one dime was for their offering, one dime was for their savings, and there was each one of them had their own little savings jar. And then 80 cents they could do whatever they wanted to with.
Right.
He brought that up. He's 33 now. And he brought that up
Cool.
in one of our conversations. And so I think besides each of us, inspecting and our own giving patterns and own giving thoughts and challenges, we need to, I think, embrace the responsibility we have to teach others to give, and particularly those who are younger than us, because it's, giving for future generations. It's been talked widely among churches and nonprofits that there is some concern there, because of the possibility that we're raising generations that aren't as charitable and have that giving mindset that maybe their parents did and that they grew up with. And so I think the tendency is always to think that I believe that people by nature are generous, but they have this feeling that they'll be generous later.
Right.
And the reality is that you'll never be more generous later than you are right now.
Right.
And you start trying to expand that in your life and experience. And so, anyways, a lot of things are coming up for us that will celebrate the Operation Christmas Child, some angel tree, and other things that we do around here that kind of fuel just that inspirational side of being a part of something bigger than yourself through giving. So
it's a fun time of year.
And it is Thanksgiving.
It is, not according to some. Some think it's Christmas already, and they're wrong. We had this debate last year. We don't have to have it this year, but, slow down and experience Thanksgiving.
Well, everybody knows that my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
I said this.
Because you've talked about the food.
No, it's the 4-day weekend.
Really?
It's consistent. It does. The date, the Thanksgiving is always on the last Thursday. It doesn't move around.
Oh, that is nice.
You don't have to guess where it is on the calendar. Anyways, it's a great holiday weekend.
Yeah, it is.
Anyways, and probably less pressure on a staff member than some of the other holidays.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of worship experiences that happen on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So I hope that you're not disappointed, Teak, or those who are listening, that there's a possibility we're going to start rolling out Christmas decorations at the church a little bit early.
Not well, no, I guess that would be disappointment. Yeah, I would be disappointed.
Well,
I will just be. I'm usually very supportive of what we do as a church. I will just be the critical one who says,
"Oh no, really?
We got to think about this. Let's not."
Well, let me tell you what we thought about. How unfair it is to the small group that decorate a very large building in less than a week's time span around a Thanksgiving holiday where they could be spending it with their family. And so we just got to talking about, hey, it's not going to hurt to kind of start rolling out some things week to week. It makes it a little bit easier, less stressful on those decorating, and it does really get us ready for your favorite season. True. Advent.
It does.
I thought those words would come out of your mouth, but they didn't, so I had to help you.
No, because I'm still processing all my reasons that I disagree with you, but that's all right.
Well, this has been a great episode. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm not sure if we're overtime or not, but it's just a sort of a day for us in a midweek conversation to get caught up. This Sunday, I'll be back with everyone for worship, and I'll be sharing a conversation with you that I look forward to. So we look forward to seeing you this Sunday.
See you then.